Egg. I'm fine. How are you? Hello, Amin. Hello, Yulia, and everyone else. Hello, Flavia. How are you, Johnny? It's so cold there. Where are you, Flavia? I can't remember. It's cold in Sao Paulo right now? Is it winter there now? I guess it is, isn't it? I didn't think about that. It's getting pretty hot here. It's not as bad as some places, but today will be a high of 34 Celsius, which is about, what, 94 Fahrenheit, I think, 93 Fahrenheit. All right, I forgot to bring up my notes. All right. So today we are. Oh wait, wrong one. I forgot. It's not Mark's Musings. It's Teacher Mark's chat room. Did I say the wrong thing? Oh, too late now. Let's see. Where is that Teacher Mark's chat room? Let me send it to myself. And today we are talking about hobbies, right? Yeah. There it is. So, what are we doing today? We are going to do this. We're going to talk about hobbies today. Hobbies is the topic. We're going to practice your English by talking about hobbies. So, we have some questions about hobbies that we're going to talk about. Okay, what are your hobbies? Why do people have hobbies? Are there any hobbies that you want to try? And can your hobby be your job? Okay, so we're gonna talk about that in just a minute. Hello, Bella. Hello, Junior and Carolina. Bisharo. Today's topic is hobbies, and we're going to practice English by talking about hobbies. Okay? That's what we're going to do. So, Bishara says, my hobby is riding horse. So, you could say, my hobby is riding horses, or you could say, my hobby is horseback riding. That's what we say in America. We say, my hobby is horseback riding. Horseback riding. Hello, Diego. All right, we have enough people here, so we may as well get started. So once again, let's take a look at our topic and our questions for today. This is the topic, and these are the questions for today. Okay, so the topic is hobbies. And here are the questions. We're going to start with just question number 1, which is a simple question, which is, what are your hobbies? What are your hobbies? So you should write your answer and write a proper answer explaining what your hobby or hobbies are. Okay? My hobbies are blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So what are your hobbies? Thank you, Diego. Hello, Carolina and Valerio. Johnny likes gardening, so do I. Johnny, as a matter of fact, I have to take a quick break for 1 second because I have to go turn off the water. I'm watering my garden right now, and that was the alarm to tell me to go turn off the water. So give me just 1 minute and I will be right back. Let me just turn off the water. All right. So, what are your hobbies? That's what we're talking about right now. Practice your English by telling me about your hobbies. So, what are your hobbies? Describe your hobbies. Tell me what they are. Tell me why you like them. Okay. Hi, if you are new here, Bashara is new and Ali is new. My name is Teacher Mark. I'm a real teacher. I have been on Hello Talk for more than 11 years. I have about 82,000 followers here, and they follow me because I do live streams 5 times a week or more about English, about how to learn English, how to be fluent in English, how to improve your English. So you should click the follow button and pay attention and start attending my classes. I can't answer every question you have right now, but you can follow me and start learning from me. That's how you can learn to be fluent in English. Okay? Yang says, I understand about 60% of what you say, but it's difficult to understand other hosts. Why? Well, there are many reasons why. Uh, One is because many other hosts are not teachers, they're just people. And most people don't pay attention to their speech very much. They don't really care about their language very much. So that means that they might speak more quickly, they might not be so clear in the way they pronounce things, they might use a lot of slang or colloquial language. Um, that's one good reason why. Okay? Carolina says, my hobbies are reading books, watching movies, swimming, eating nice food in a restaurant. Okay, good, except Carolina, you just forgot one thing. You forgot to add the and at the end there. So you should say, my hobbies are reading books, watching movies, swimming, and eating nice food in a restaurant or in restaurants. Hello, Jacinto. My hobby is listening to music with dance. Oh, maybe you could say my hobby is dancing and listening to music and reading books, reading interesting and inspirational books. So, Rachel, you could say my hobby is dancing and listening to music and reading interesting and inspirational books. Okay? Carolina says, my hobbies are reading and exercising. Okay. Another Carolina. Flavia says, I like to ride my bike. My biggest hobby is learning English. Flavia says, I like to learn English because in real life it makes me feel smart, and I like to ride my bike because it makes me feel free and alive. Okay, good. Let's see. Diego says, I already made my hobbies my job. Okay, Diego, what is your job and what was your hobby? Hello to all the new people. You are welcome, Doki. You welcome Maureen, and also Dan, who is my favorite composer. Well, we're not really talking about that, but Bach, definitely, hands down. I mean, I love a lot of classical music. If you're talking about classical music, I listen to lots of kinds of music, so it depends on what kind of music you're talking about. But if you're talking about classical, then you can't beat Bach to me. I love I mean, all the traditional composers, you know, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, Bach, Shostakovich, Chopin, Stravinsky, Orff. There are many great ones, but Bach is definitely one of my favorites. I never get tired of his music. Is the most beautiful music to both listen to and analyze at the same time. So I love his music because his music is both intellectual and beautiful. And I guess that's part of my hobbies. One of my hobbies was music, and I also turned that into my job, my career. Metal detecting. Really, Mateo? That's interesting. Tell me, Mateo, what's the most interesting thing you've ever found while metal detecting? Have you ever found anything really old and cool? Hello to all the new people. Valerio says Pink Floyd. Or you mean my favorite composer? I do like Pink Floyd, but a little different. When you're talking about hobbies, is it mandatory to use the ing? Is that the correct way? Why? Uh, Let me think about my answer very quickly. Yeah, so we always use the ing form because we're talking about the act of doing it, right? The process of doing it. So when you're talking about the process or the act of doing it, it's best to use the ing form, right? So I like cooking, I like running, I like biking, riding, listening, right? Okay, because it's the act of doing it. All right? You found an old coin dated to 1812. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Where do you usually go for metal detecting? The beach? Parks? The woods? Where do you go? Doki asks, can watching a sunset every evening be considered a hobby? Yeah, I think yeah. Yeah, if it's something that gives you great pleasure and it's something that you do artfully, like you have such interest in it that it's almost like an art. And when you do an art is something that doesn't need to be the best or perfect. It's something we do just to express ourselves. So, but it's like an honest expression of ourselves. So, if you do that thing, if you watch a sunset every evening, and it's like an honest expression of who you are, the way you watch and what you do, it's like a meditation. Sure, why not? Marcelina likes reading. Okay, that's good. We need more people who read. What do you like to read, Marcelina? Do you read fiction or nonfiction? Do you have a favorite author or style of book? Flavia loves ordering food like hamburgers and sushi and pizza. Johnny, you're such a big fan. I need to make you the head of my fan club, Johnny. What does a composer mean? Composer means somebody who writes music. Okay, so who's your favorite composer means who is your favorite person who writes music. Usually they mean classical music, like Beethoven. Okay? Egg loves to wander and explore the city. That's a fun hobby. Yeah, I like to explore new cities, especially when I'm traveling. Captain Nemo likes taking pictures of the stars. Okay, that's cool. I do that every once in a while too. Mateo says it's forbidden in beaches. You can go in parks and forests and fields. Oh, that's interesting. Is there a particular reason why it's forbidden on beaches? Is it just because it's annoying, or is there a particular reason that they forbid it on beaches? Hello, Isan. You, Nina, you can say it, but it doesn't mean it's true. Better to train a crow. Train a crow to do what? Find things for you? Hello, Lynn. No, I have never been to India. Marcelina likes reading the Bible, and one of her favorite authors is Stormy Omartian. I've never heard of him or her. I don't know who that is. Hello, Mona. Valerio, I am drinking iced coffee. So, once again, we're talking about hobbies. Right now, we're talking about hobbies. What are your hobbies? Why do you like them? Okay? What are your hobbies and why do you like them? Hello, Xiaofeng. How are you? Huan Shang Hao. 可是这里就是早上好. Is smoking a hobby? Doubtful. Doubtful. It depends on how you do it, but doubtful. Yeah, I'm still waiting for my book too. One of my favorite hobbies is traveling. Definitely, I wish I could travel more, but I can't complain. Yeah, me too. Traveling is probably one of my greatest hobbies, but I just never get to do it because it's expensive. You know? Can hobbies change? Of course they can. Of course they can. That's the beautiful thing about hobbies is, do you know why I love hobbies? I love hobbies because what's the difference between a hobby and learning something? What's the difference between a hobby and learning something? So what's the difference between learning gardening and the hobby of gardening? What's the difference of the hobby of biology or learning biology? Or what's the difference of the hobby of reading history or the hobby, the hobby of reading history or just studying history? What's the difference? Mora says you do it out of fun and out of interest. That's exactly right. Sometimes when we talk about learning, we feel pressure and we feel stress, like it's something not fun and difficult to do. But when we call it a hobby, suddenly it's not that difficult and suddenly it's more fun and suddenly you don't stress out so much. And the reason why is because we are designed to enjoy play. We are designed to enjoy play. Play is fun. Hobbies are fun. Studying or learning can be fun if you treat it like a hobby. If you treat learning more like a hobby, it's something to just do for fun, just to improve who you are, to explore new things and try new things and have new experiences. You know, hobbies I think are very important because hobbies are a way to gain experience. When you try something new, you learn things, what works and what doesn't work, and what's good and what's bad, and what people think about it. You know, there's a lot that you can gain from that. Let's see. Grace says my hobbies are photography, but you can say my hobbies are photography using my phone and traveling. And Valerio, I said doubtful, doubt, like I doubt it. doubtful. To say doubtful means I don't think that's possible or likely. Yeah, doubtful. I like watching comedy movies that can make me relax. Okay, good. Me too. In the writing, it's Egg wrote it there for you. Doubtful. Doubtful. Diego, I've been to not too many countries, really. Um, I lived in Taiwan for 4 years. I've been to the Philippines and Japan, and I had I've been to Hong Kong a bunch of times, and I've been to the airport in Seoul. Does that count? And I've been to Canada, and I've been to the Bahamas, but not that's it. I think that's about it. Oh, in Spain and Germany just recently. Duh, I forgot. Spain and Germany just recently. It was my first time to Europe. Mona says one of my favorite hobbies is improving my English and also my communication skills. Very good, Mona. And that's right, Carolina. That's exactly right. My interest is traveling. Okay, good. Sahar likes learning different languages and communicating with people around the world to know about cultures and customs and cuisines. Good, me too. My hobby is learning languages, and now I've started with learning English today, as well as playing football and watching movies. Okay, good. Tanya says very often when we study something, there's someone pushing us to do it compared to hobbies. Yeah, that's part of it too. When you do something because you want to do it, you do it better. When you do something because someone else wants you to do it, it's not likely you're doing it as well as you would do it if it were your own interest, your own desire. Yes, I don't know how I could forget that, Belen. Lynn says my hobby is dancing. Okay, good. All right, let's go to the next question. Let me pull up the questions again, and let's go to the next question. The next question is, why do people have hobbies? Why do people have hobbies? Why do you think people have hobbies? Nima, I don't want to be, give a bad answer, but the truth is that every place I travel, I really do learn so much. So I always have good memories. I think traveling is one of the best ways to learn. So why do people have hobbies? Let's see. Doki says to feel relaxed. Egg says people need something that they're interested in or have a passion about. Valeria says to pass the time or pass the time well. Belen says stress relief, growth. It could be many things. Hello, Camellia. Mona says I personally have hobbies in order to survive from this chaotic world. Yeah, right? Yeah. Carolina says people like to have hobbies because they need to have fun activities. Okay, David says to enjoy, people have hobbies to enjoy their spare time a little more and to get out of the routine or a routine. Okay, good answer, David. And Nima says hobbies usually help people be relaxed. Xiaofeng says hobbies are a way to be relaxed in life and make life meaningful. Yeah. To disconnect from your routine. Yeah, sure. Hobbies bring me peace and happiness, or give me peace and happiness. Grace, you can say hobbies give me or bring me peace and happiness. Okay? Yeah, so why do people have hobbies? Hobbies are all about curiosity, your interests. You know, what are you interested in? The older I get, the more I realize how important curiosity is. And I think that I also start to think that the most intelligent people are the most curious people. The most intelligent people are the most curious people. And I would also say the most interesting people are the most curious people. Because the most interesting people are usually the people who have been curious about many things, so they've tried many things. That's why they are interesting. That's why they are interesting. Right? So this is about curiosity. Again, I often talk about curiosity and how important curiosity is. And how curiosity is something that you have when you're a child. You are born with a sense of curiosity. It's given to you. Every person in this world has curiosity when they are born. But the older we get, it's like a fire, and it needs to be maintained. You have to keep it. And most people don't keep it. And so the older people get, many people when they get older, they don't have any hobbies anymore. They don't even do hobbies. You know? Yeah. But it's also about curiosity. The older people get, many people, the older they get, the less curious they get. They are so sure of themselves that they don't have any questions anymore. They feel they know everything, and they don't feel a sense of wonder anymore about things. I wonder why. I wonder what this is. I wonder why that happens. I wonder who did that. I wonder what it would be like to do gardening. I wonder what it would be like to go fishing. I wonder what it would be like to cook. Those are hobbies. That's why we do hobbies. It's why we do hobbies. It's something we're curious about. You know? Let's see. To get out of your daily routine and discover confidence, it also does that. Yeah? Hello to all the new people. It provides a healthy alternative to negativity. That's true. Yeah, it can be a good stress reliever. Valeria says it should be the person works in his hobby. Well, ultimately, that would be a wonderful thing if that could happen, if everybody could, if their job could be their hobby. I think the basic point that you're making, Valerio, is that any job that you care about is something that you'll do better. If you don't care about it, you're not going to do it that well. Right? So if you have two people that have the same job and they make the same amount of money, but one really cares about it and the other one doesn't, who is the better worker? The guy who cares, of course. Mona says, Albert Einstein once said, I'm not smart, I'm just curious. And that is exactly how I feel. Actually, that's funny. I've never heard that quote from Albert. I know most of his quotes, but I don't think I don't remember that one. But that's a beautiful quote because, yeah, that's exactly what I think is true, is smart people are curious people. The people who ask questions, the people who wonder how things work and why it's that way and if it could be different. That's curiosity. Sometimes hobbies can be a social tool. That's right. Yeah, sure. Maybe you share a hobby with someone. You can go with a book club or a hiking group or, um, a cooking club, right? There are lots of different clubs and groups and things that you can join, right? Make Rolex says you have compassion to do something that can be hobbies. Uh, Almost. You're not. You don't want to use the word compassion. You want to use the word passion. Okay, compassion is different than passion. To have compassion is to have emotions and feelings for other people, right? To have compassion means I have sympathy and empathy for the pain and suffering of those around me. I care about what happens to you. That's what compassion means. I care about what happens to you, not just me. Okay, that's to have compassion. But to have passion is to have true interest and fire and curiosity about something. That's what you're talking about. What are my hobbies? I have many hobbies. One of my hobbies was drums, but then I made that into a job and a career. And teaching was one of my hobbies. I also made that into my job and career. Cooking was one of my hobbies. I also made that into a job if I want to. It's just a hobby now, though. I love cooking. I love hiking. I love fishing. I love gardening, traveling, camping, although I never go camping anymore. I can't remember the last time I went camping, but I do love camping. Okay, they provide fun and stress relief. Hobbies let people express themselves and explore interests. Learning new things builds confidence and knowledge. Great answer, Johnny. People have hobbies to relax and enjoy themselves. That's right. Why does curiosity change or finish? Milo wants to know. Um, I'll tell you why, Milo. Because when you're a child, everyone expects you to ask questions. But the older you get, if you ask too many questions, many people find it to be almost like you are like a child, like you're immature. So we have learned that you shouldn't ask questions. We have learned that you're supposed to just be quiet and just do things without asking questions. And somehow we have learned that not asking questions is maturity and asking questions is immaturity. That's one big reason why, is because some people think that when you're an adult, you're supposed to stop asking questions, which is stupid. Vadim says, you have no questions? Congratulations, you have become old. That's pretty much it. That's the secret of youth, is maintaining your curiosity. The curiosity of youth. You know? Diego says, Mark, as a child, I used to make too many questions to my father, even why chickens lay eggs. Yeah, me too, Diego. I remember, Diego, there's a good word you can learn. The word is inquisitive. Inquisitive. Do you guys know that word? To be inquisitive. It means that you ask a lot of questions. And I learned this word because it was on my report card from school. I think I was in the 3rd grade, maybe, the 4th grade, maybe. And I came home and I said, Mom, what does inquisitive mean? She said, it means you ask too many questions. Yeah. So if you ask a lot of questions, then you are inquisitive. I also remember opening up my little cars to find out how they worked, and I destroyed all of them. Yeah, that's curiosity too. Sometimes you break a few eggs when you're making a cake. Shared hobbies create community and friendships. They offer goals and a sense of accomplishment. Hobbies make life more fulfilling, balanced, and that's right, enjoyable. Good. Compassion equals empathy. It doesn't equal empathy, but compassion is the sense that you care about what happens to other people, right? You have a sense of care about what happens to other people. That's to have compassion, okay? Empathy is a very important part of that, right? If you care about what other people, what happens to other people, that is empathy, right? Even some professors become offended when you ask more questions, which is absurd. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT because it never gets upset. Like, no matter how many questions you ask it, you can keep telling it, I don't really understand. Can you keep explaining? Can you explain it again? Can you but what about this? But what about that? But what about this? But what about that? You can do that all day and all night and it will never get tired. I love that. Because I have that kind of a mind and I like to pursue ideas and concepts and topics and theories. And ChatGPT allows me to explore them. You should see the list of conversations I have with ChatGPT. I ask it all kinds of philosophical and esoteric, uh, political, religious, historical, deep, scientific questions. And I have deep conversations with it about these things. Um, yeah, it's great if you can make your hobby your career. I think it's great. I think it's really amazing. Tanya says adults just don't have the power to be curious. They're too tired. Tanya, that reminds me of. Let me show you a meme that I just saw recently that I think you'll appreciate. Let me bring it up here and just let me find it. Hold on. Where is that? There it is. I found this meme. Let's see. Look at this. Oops. When you just want to be creative, but all of your energy is being used just to survive. That's how we feel sometimes, right? You want to be creative, but it's a little hard because you're tired. You know, life is hard. But that's why it's so important to appreciate the people who are artists, the people who are not tired enough, or not too tired, I should say. Uh, the people who do make time to have art. Uh, that's important for all of us. Art, music, dance, fashion, cuisine, culture, whatever. Confucius says hobbies allow you to achieve better mental health and allows you to enjoy what you're passionate about, but they can't be pursued as a full-time career. That's just not true. Many, many, many millions of people have turned their hobby into a career. I think you're having a semantic argument, which means that you're saying that if it becomes your job, it can't be your hobby. But I don't think that's true. Again, I am a musician. It is my job, it's one of my jobs, but I still love music, and it was a hobby that I started with. So, um, a hobby absolutely can be a career. It can turn into one. It can blossom and bloom into one. Ah, Mona, yes, I know. I'm terribly. The things that are happening right now, I wish you could see what's going on in my head, Mona. Vadim says, not everyone, for instance. Look at Mark. I don't think he is tired, but he's curious about everything. I'm not curious about everything, but I'm curious about a lot. That's for sure. Um, I have a curious mind. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not saying that to brag. If anything, sometimes it's a curse when you're really interested in so many things. And when you want to know more about everything, uh, sometimes you just want your brain to shut up. Do I play drums for hobby? Well, like I said, Valerio, I started drumming as a hobby, but then at the age of 18, I began playing in bars and teaching drums at a music store, and that became my job for about 25 or 30 years. It's still my job. It's just now something I do. I used to play music 4 to 6 times a week in bars and clubs at night. Now I play once a month or twice a month if I want to. If I want to, I play music when I want to, the way I want to. So it's just different now. But it's still my job. And I play every kind of music. Every kind. It should be a woman on the mean. Men usually have more free time. Okay. I'll probably give you that argument. Thank you, Erin. Let me check on this over here. Let's see. Hello, Max from Brazil. I'm over here. I'm reading you, Flavia. I check on you every once in a while. Let's see. Butt says, not in every country can you turn a hobby into a job, specifically a small country. I don't think it matters what country you're in. I think that there are some economies where the economy is really terrible, and if the economy is really terrible, that means that most people will be forced into doing certain kinds of work. But that doesn't mean that everybody is that way, and that doesn't mean that you can't make your hobby your job. You could find a way to, like, for example, I remember there was a guy that lived not far from me when I lived in Taiwan, and he made watermelon juice, sugarcane juice, and what was the other juice? Mango? Yeah, mango juice. And that was his job, that was his hobby though. He loved it. Like he had fun making juice for people. And he said his family had a farm, and he made juice as a boy and he liked making juice, and so he still makes juice. Right? So, in a bad economy, the worse your economy is, the more pressure you feel to not have hobbies or do hobbies. That's sad and unfortunate, you know? And it's also a measure of freedom, right? When you have the ability to have hobbies, that says that you have a good environment, you know? Okay, and let's go to the next question. Let's go to the next question. The next question is this. The next question is, are there any hobbies that you want to try? Are there any hobbies that you want to try? If there are any hobbies that you want to try, what are they and why do you want to try them? What hobbies do you want to try and why? Oh, there's always somebody who says skydiving. You know, a long time ago, skydiving was something very uncommon. But I know a bunch of people who have gone skydiving now. I used to think I wanted to try it. Now I'm not so sure. Now I'm kind of, I don't think I need to jump out of a plane to understand what that feels like. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do. but I'm not that interested in it at this point in my life. Jaja likes to read books. Okay, but we're talking about what you want to do. Is there a hobby that you want to do? Something that you want to try? A new hobby? Egg wants to try parachuting and rock climbing. Okay, rock climbing's fun, and it's not that hard, and probably in your city they have a rock climbing place where you can go practice. Probably. David wants to learn how to play guitar. You love rock. You want to play a bunch of music like your idols? Do it, David. Get a guitar. You can get a very cheap, junky guitar, and you can still learn how to play and play beautiful music. You know, David, that's one of the reasons I love music from the Caribbean, right? A lot of music from the Caribbean is made by guys that have really poor instruments. Not because, well, part of it is because they're poor. They just can't afford a really great instrument. But actually, part of it is because it's very difficult to have an expensive instrument in the Caribbean. And the reason I say that is because the salt in the air, because of the water, the ocean water puts a lot of salt in the air. Because there's so much salt in the air, anything that is metal will corrode very, very quickly. So when I was in the Bahamas, I saw drums that were there, and all of the metal, all of this stuff that should be chrome was green because of the corrosion from the salt water and salt in the air. But my point is, though, they make incredible music sometimes on very poor instruments. They may not be able to get the best guitar, but they find something and they make it work. Africa is the same way. There are videos online of kids playing music in Africa using broken guitars and broken drums and broken instruments, and they are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. So, if you want to play guitar, get a guitar. Just get a cheap one. just did scuba diving in Thailand. I do want to try scuba diving sometime. Thailand, that sounds great. I want to go to Thailand. You want to travel and see the world more. Alina wants to try dancing. Boris would like to try surfing. Me too. I'd like to try surfing. Kavit says, my hobby is learning English at the present. Okay, but what's a new hobby you want to try? You want to travel around the world? Me too. You've tried gardening, but the plants are always dead. I don't know why. Carolina, gardening requires a lot of patience and attendance. Like, you have to attend to the plants like they are children, you know? You have to make sure that they're fed. You have to make sure that they have the right amount of sunlight and oxygen and airflow and soil, and it's a lot to care about and pay attention to. But what I would say is, Carolina, there are always some plants are really difficult to grow and some plants are very easy to grow. So if you want to try gardening and you think it might be hard, then just do a little research to find out what plants are really easy to grow where you live. Okay, find a list of 5 or 10 plants that are easy to grow in your area and then try one of those. Asks says, I've already tried everything I want to try. Baloney! Baloney. That's garbage. How old are you? Are you 99? If you are 99, I will accept that answer. If you are not 99, then look at me. Life is too short to be so boring. Go try some new things. Okay? Life is too short. There are so many interesting things that you can try and learn about. Come on. If you tell me that you have nothing more that you're interested in trying, then I will tell you that you don't know anything about the world. I will tell you you have a very small mind. If you have no interest in trying anything else anymore, ever, then you have a small mind. Come on! Get real! There are millions of things to try. You don't want to try any of them? None of them. Nothing. That's when, in English, we say baloney. Baloney is a kind of lunch meat. But when we say it in a slang term, it means, in Chinese, it's like saying, ni hu shuo ba dao. Hu shuo ba dao. It's like baloney, garbage. You're speaking garbage. Try everything, even illegal stuff. Ryle says, no, I didn't say you should try everything, including legal stuff. Although what is illegal is different depending on where you live, right? So there are some things that might be illegal in one place that are not illegal in another place, right? That's the semantics of legality. Legality is a perception, you know? But what I would say is you should try many things. I won't say you should try everything, but you should try many things. Here's what I want you to consider. Do you guys know who Kurt Vonnegut is? Kurt Vonnegut. And yes, that's how you spell baloney. Kurt Vonnegut. He's a writer. He's an American writer. He wrote science fiction books. Okay? He's a famous American writer who wrote science fiction. And he has a story that I really like. When he was 15, he went to an archaeological dig. What that means is he was interested in archaeology, right? Which is like studying dinosaurs. So he went to a dig site to watch and pay attention and help with a dig, right? Volunteer. Okay? And when he was there, he was talking to the archaeologist and introducing himself. And he said, hi, my name is Kurt Vonnegut, and I'm 15, and I'm from this high school, and whatever. And the guy said, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. And Kurt said, well, I'm 15, I'm from this high school, and I like this and this and this and this. He said, I like piano, I like reading books, I like writing, and I like studying history. I don't know I can't remember what he said, but he said like 4 or 5 things. And the archaeologist said, wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. You play the piano and you're interested in writing and you read and you do all these things. Wow, that's amazing. And Kurt Vonnegut said, no, I'm not good at any of them. He said, I'm not good at any of them. And the archaeologist said, I didn't say it's amazing because I thought you were good at them. I said it's amazing because you've had so many interesting experiences. That makes you amazing because you've had interesting experiences. So that's what hobbies can do for you. Hobbies give you interesting experiences. They make you an interesting person. That makes you amazing. Sometimes I like to think about art, your hobbies and your interests are kind of like a diamond. And when you get a diamond, first the diamond is raw. It's not shaped. It doesn't really look pretty. It's an ugly stone. Okay, has no shape. Okay, and then you cut an angle into it and it becomes more beautiful. And then you cut another angle into it and it becomes more beautiful. And then you cut another angle and it becomes more beautiful. And then you cut another angle. So diamonds, the more facets, they're called facets. A facet is an angle on a diamond or a stone, okay? The more facets, the more beautiful. Well, hobbies and interests are like the facets of life. They're like the facets of life. So when you have many hobbies and many interests, it's kind of like you have a more beautiful diamond because you have more angles. If you have no angles, you have a kind of a raw, uncut, unformed diamond. Still has value, but you could develop it. You could develop it. Yeah, that's right. Ryle says, I get it now. Even though your skills are mediocre, they make you amazing and give you more experience. That's right. Guys, the point of doing things is not always to be great at them. The point of doing things is to just experience new things. Now, sometimes when you try new things, you might really like it and you might be really good at it, and then you might want to become great at it. But sometimes you try something new and you're not great at it, but it's still a good experience. Okay? I'm not a great gardener, but I love gardening. Am I a master gardener? No, not at all. Okay? But I have a garden and I enjoy doing it. Should I not do it because I can't do it the best? Should I not do it because I can't do it as well as a professional farmer? No. I can still do it. Hiking. I like hiking. Just because I'm not a master hiker, I haven't climbed Mount Everest, doesn't mean I can't enjoy hiking. Just because you're not a master doesn't mean it's not valuable. Okay? All right. If I were in China, I might be suitable for being a philosopher. Well, China is on Earth. I live on Earth. So, I think I'm still suitable. There's your philosophy. Let's see. One of the hobbies that I want to learn is Spanish because I like this language so much. It might help you in the future to communicate with others. Okay, good. Yeah. Learning a language is good. We can discover our new abilities and foster our curiosity by doing new hobbies. Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Ryle says, I do have a lot of hobbies, playing guitar, bass, piano, basketball, boxing, and karate. I see my worth not because I'm proficient. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just something to do, you know? Are you Bruce Lee? No, but can you do karate and enjoy it? Yeah, that's great. You know, are you Mike Tyson in boxing? No, but can you enjoy it and get something out of it and learn something? Yeah. You know, experiencing a hobby. Here's the other thing I love about hobbies is when you do a hobby, it might be something that you are doing casually and not seriously. But somewhere, someone, they do it and they are very serious about it. I think that's interesting. That everything, no matter how weird and rare and crazy and strange it might be, whatever hobbies that there are, somebody, that's their job, that's their passion, that's their life. It's what they do. You know? That's interesting to think about. It might not be passionate. It might not be a passionate thing for you, but for someone somewhere it is. That's interesting. Why? You know? My husband is a terrible gardener, but he loves it. The point is he enjoys the moment. That's right. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay, so let's see. Let me check on my YouTube folks over here. Johnny, hello, Johnny. You would like to fly a glider. That's cool. Interesting. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, I'd try that sometime, maybe. Okay, guys, it has been an hour and 10 minutes, so it is time for me to go, but we've had a good conversation. We talked a lot about hobbies today. Let's just look and review our questions one more time. We talked about hobbies. This was Mark's chat room, and we talked about what are your hobbies? Why do people have hobbies? Are there any hobbies that you want to try? And earlier, we talked about, can your hobby be your job? And yes, it can. It can. Absolutely it can. All right. If you want to follow me, then you should go here. Go to this link that I just put in the chat. Linktree. linktr.ee/AFIEC English. Go to that link tree, you can find my website and follow me on my website. Go to that link and you can find my YouTube and follow me on YouTube. Go to that link and you can find my podcast and follow me on my podcast. Okay? So go to that link and I'll give it to you one more time right here. Linktree. Go to my Linktree. All right? I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, so Thursday I think I'm going to be doing etymology tomorrow. We'll be talking about the history of words and where they come from. Ooh, I have some good news stories to tell you about that too. Yeah, I'm going to prepare a good lesson for tomorrow for my etymology live stream. So join me tomorrow if you want to learn about the history of words. Okay? I'll tell you some cool stories about some words. All right? Okay, everybody, thank you for watching. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, and I will see you next time. Bye.